Well, technology has always been in our house um, from the time our children were born, because my husband is an IT teacher. He's always been into the newest and latest gadgets. So they came in and they grew up with it, and initially the technology we were using we thought was innocent, and even at times educational. But we could never see the direction it would go or how it would explode or what ends it would be used for. And so we willingly placed technology in the hands of our children very, very young. And then it became very, very hard when things exploded to pull it back. Well, what happened with technology is it started small. You know, it starts small. It starts with the Nintendo DS. And actually, ironically, the way that my daughter got into video games, which she really actually does not like, but is when the Nintendo DS came out and we were trying to teach her how to read. She loved Nintendo DS, but I don't know if you remember, but you couldn't play it unless you could read, because everything was in a caption, what you had to do. And so I bought her one of those to kind of whet her appetite to read, because she wanted to play. And it worked, and it encouraged her, and that's how she learned to read, was on a Nintendo DS. So we thought, this is great, this is great. The next things they moved to were tablets, the advent of things like Webkins, which again, little cuddly stuffed animals, they're great, right? I mean, who didn't love Webkins? And it was a whole marketing scheme, because your Webkin expired after a year, but you could reactivate them if you bought another Webkin and registered him. You know, so you were constantly doing it. But they could furnish apartments, and they could interact with their friends, and it was a protected environment. And so it was almost like, you remember like in E.T. with the Reese's Pieces? You know, and you just kind of follow just a little bit more, just a little bit more. So we really didn't think much about actually putting a tablet in their hands to be able to play their games with their friends. Facebook was the next thing, and we did it so that they could stay in touch with family, because we have family spread out all over the United States, and that was very cool for them to be able to get on there and talk with their cousins or their friends, to read what they were doing or to post. They weren't doing a whole lot with friends initially because they were young. And again, we couldn't see where that was going to end up, like what people were going to use social media for. And then they kind of ventured out into YouTube and YouTube videos, and that's, you know, there's a whole dangerous world out there. When your child goes on YouTube and says, can I watch Barbie videos, and they have animated Barbie videos, there's not a concern about that. When you've seen the videos, you feel pretty good. And so sure, you can watch a Barbie video. Well, then you found out that somebody thought it would be funny to make animated Barbie sex videos. And those come up. And then your child sees something that you never intended for them to see young. And so then you have to start monitoring that. So every time something good, I guess, is released, it gets exploited in some way. And then it gets put in front of your children, and you may or may not know it. So I'm in the classroom, so I think I hear a lot more, and I see a lot more. And as a parent, I can say what we think our kids know. I kind of think of it like an iceberg. We think it's 10%, but what they really know would terrify you, actually. Who they're talking to, what they're doing, how they're connecting, even the best of kids. The best of kids. And I know a lot of times I hear, my child would never do that. And sometimes I have to say, your child is doing that, and I know, because they're in my child's social media circle, and I can see it.